Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We are now at another episode of ITUTv podcast, man. I'm glad to have everybody here. Tonight we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories. We're going to be diving into the world of how conspiracy theories and Forex affect people trades, how our traders have dealt with that, students have dealt with that. I'm joined today by a wonderful, wonderful team. They got the whole ITU family here with me. Welcome back, Tay. Welcome back, Byron. Glad to have you guys.
What's good?
What's up?
For sure. So let's to kick things off. Let's talk about some of the most common conspiracy theories that we know we deal with. So, Tay, leading with you, man. What are some notable ones that you come across?
So some pretty big ones we got out here is talk about Charles Schwab or some of these other big banks like Bank of America, Washington Savings Bank, Apollo Bank. All these top end guys out here influencing the market, trying to manipulate the forex market and trying to tell people what they can do with their money and showing that interest they have. Uh, some of the big things we got to talk about also. Byron know, Chris know. When we talk about him, some of these major players out here are trying to like band together to try to influence supply and demand and cause
Mhm.
things to either go up or down. We got some big stuff going on right now. So cryptos is one of the big things we've been talking about for a while, uh, causing that to try to influx either going up or down. What's some other things we talked about?
I mean, these things, just these things alone, we're seeing just in the last 3 years causing major problems, causing people at even the basic middle class level to be hard pressed on where to even put their. I want to be protected. I want to be in a safe place with my money due to y'all manipulation, housing market. Y'all manipulating the crypto. Y'all manipulating the stock market. Y'all manipulating these currencies. It's causing it harder for traders and harder for the everyday person to make a living and make decisions for their family.
It seems like it's almost like targeted towards like the middle class. Like
Right.
every time we keep having these big issues, 2008 we had the collapse of our housing market. We were all probably still in school. I'm still in like high school at the time, but now we're seeing it again happening to a lot of these middle banks. We see two banks that collapsed within the last couple of days. Pretty big things we're seeing. We're seeing the housing market shoot up. We're seeing what prices. I bought my house. What 2018? We talk about like 2%, 2.8%. I can't find a house around that price. It'll cost me about
Mm.
6 or 7%, and I'm in the market right now looking for new homes. So in my mind, I'm looking and saying I'm not purchasing nothing right now because it's not worth it to me, and that might be a big thing that might influence us towards the future. That's not that talk about housing. We're talking about for everything. So why would I want to invest my money in this current time if the percentages are not talking what they're supposed to be talking?
Exactly. It's kept me in a complete renter space. Downsides going to the renter space until we can do the same by our home. It's like y'all are astronomical with these prices, right? And it's your fault. It's not like we had anything to do with it. You know what I mean? So even from our family's perspective, now you might have cause a bad friction within your family because you can't make that economic decision that they're looking for you to make. Go get the family, get the big house. What's going on, dude? That the economy's screwed. I'm not about to make it move like that right now.
Yeah, American Dream is done. Like,
Yeah.
like what are we doing out here? Like, hey man, everybody tells you buy a house, get a house with a picket fix on the back. You can't even purchase a house without both people in your home. You got two parent households now trying to purchase that, and a lot of people are not together anymore. So that's a whole nother topic. I'm not even gonna talk
God.
about that.
That dynamic can lead us down a whole rabbit hole. B, what's your take on this, man?
I mean, from my point, I'm a single dude, so it's a little easier, I guess, in a way. But the housing, the market is crazy. I mean, rent going up, crazy. I mean, going from 500 to 600, people leaving, getting kicked out of their homes like within a week, and they out here trying to figure out where they're gonna go next. So it's crazy right now. Just the market. Cars are crazy prices right now. It's insane. It's just economically, it's just crazy right now, and
Most
I don't agree
definitely.
with it. I don't agree with it. It
No.
hurt my pockets. I don't like it. So
You're messing with my money, man. You're messing with my money.
exactly.
Very interesting point. So with the rise now, okay, let's get into social media. And we know social media has played a significant factor in these markets. We know these forums. We've seen Wall Street bets last year messing with GameStop. We've seen how Trump, we've seen how Elon Musk have been able to tweet and affect the market, right? As you go forward in the career field we're in, trading, right? We now have to make decisions based on that. How much of an eye now are you guys keeping on the social media aspect of things? And we'll lead off again with Tad.
So I'm just keeping my eye on everything dealing with social media. Like social media has such a big influence on how we're able to dictate of what are we going to do for certain moves. You talked about Elon Musk having that kind of power. He can tweet out something. He can basically drastically affect a stock overnight, or he can join SNL, which nobody watches no more. Like nobody watches it, and cause that whole the stock to crash. So these are kind of some big things that we're seeing in the world right now. That's it's kind of a everything is being influenced by social media, all the way down to how we're able to take trades, even talk about how we're accepting relationships, even how we're raising our kids. Like everything is pretty big in technology and in social media.
For sure. But you got the take, sir.
Yeah, how can I feel? I feel like it's manipulating our lifestyle. Like in my opinion, it's making us dumber. You know, we're so heavy influenced by social media, and it's kind of taking away from us. I mean, when the last time you remember a phone number without looking at your phone?
Dude, I used to remember them back and forth. I'd have a whole list catalog in my head when I was younger.
Exactly. Or hey, you remember your address? Well, I have to look it up, or how to get to somebody's house by having to go on Google Maps or
White
whatnot. So
white pages.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
everybody want to. I mean, you remember MapQuest when we used to do that? You used to print it out and you had to go use that. Now you don't even have to do
My mom's had me locked in on the MapQuest situation, bro. I have two sheets ready, following instruction, looking for the signs.
But let's
Exactly.
be
So
honest though. Like we're talking about being able to spread misinformation also. Like we're not just talking about spreading good information. I should not be able to influence GameStop stocks to shoot up to $300 over a span of 2 weeks, and the price ain't never been there its entire existence. That is a problem. Like that is a big problem, and it always has ramifications and back end stuff. Like we know that they're going to put things in place that can be able to stop that from happening. They don't want little people to be able to make that kind of market manipulation. Like that stuff cannot happen. So the moment they did that, what started happening? We started seeing they started freezing accounts, making sure people can't close accounts or close shares for several days. Now that's going to happen. How we talk about having another recession or even having another stock market crash. What happens when the stock market crashes like that in the future, and they can just stop you from withdrawing your money?
Right.
I can't
And
even go in use my technology. They can influence technology to the point where I can't even stop them from saying like, no, give my money back. Like
right.
in the 20s,
it's happening
about
right
had that
now.
happening. In the 20s when that happened, what happened? People, hey, what a bank? Hey, I need my money out of the bank. I
For
can't do that
real.
now. I can't go see the
Oh,
bank. I can't be like, hey, I got money in here. Go ahead and give me my bag. Call it a day. I can't do that no more. And that's an issue for me.
oh, most definitely. I mean, look what the powers are now saying. Okay, at one point you may have believed that there was a certain limitation to the power dynamic. Now you have a random CEO with enough followers, enough influence to make a difference. Now that's going to open up every other celebrity to be like, oh, this is what I really can get done. Now I have this kind of influence, and those especially I know Fat The Rock has like 300 million. Kim K's got a couple hundred million. And maybe three other people. That's a lot of freaking people to be able to say this is what life is and change the entire dynamic of what people believe in reality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. Like it's just too much influence. People got too much power and sway of about what they can do and what they can't do. And then people got too much following where people are moving mindlessly through the crowds. I should not be following Kim K and she's telling me, hey, I'm gonna go out and buy this lip gloss or I'm gonna go buy this stock and everybody go buy that stock too. So we can't say that people don't have what's it called, collusion or even like an insider trading where you almost do have the ability to cause people to insider trade if I have the inside track on me going out and purchasing a bunch of stocks, and then me telling everybody the stock's going up, and then everybody go out and shoot up and buy that stock up, and I take my shares and I walk away. Like,
Right.
what way are we going to stop for people to be able to handle those kind of things? And that's another kind of was it another kind of theory that people are having too? Is like that anybody with any kind of power can just influence the market, and I think that's an issue.
Agreed.
Hold
Agreed.
on, I got a question. I don't play devil advocate on that, but when does it get
Sure.
to a point where that's taking away your freedom of speech? When
It's
do you
not
Pretty
feel
taking
much,
like
away
God?
your Well, then you should be under
But
just
you're
to,
regulating what
to
they're
follow
saying.
up. What's up?
You're
Say that
regulating
piece
what
again.
they're saying.
You
So
are, but the problem is this: there now has to be a cap of influence. Because if I'm a common person and I don't follow you, and I have my money invested somewhere, and now because you have 300 followers and you're able to call the company that I thought was good a piece of shit, and then it drops just because you said it, now my money's fucked.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's an issue.
You know, I don't follow you, so I don't know that you said that. I don't even know. You know, I may not even know who you are.
Like imagine all the people that had money in Adidas, and then and then Kanye West did what he did and caused all my money to drop out of the. Oh come on, man, I'm hot. I be hot at Kanye. Like that's my boy. I don't know him, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been loving Kanye since I was a kid. But
Right.
hey, that's an issue for me. Like he can
I
have that
agree.
much influence over my money, where I have to be following Kanye West every move to make sure he don't say nothing stupid, and cause me to have to pull my stocks out of Adidas. Like come on, man, that's cool.
Great point. Great point. So now I want to dive into the Forex market, government, and institutions. Now, for this question, I have a guest come on, a wonderful student of ours, Jay Strauss, brother. I appreciate you coming through. You've been rocking with us for a few years now, been watching these markets and knowing what's going on. And you yourself as well, being military service and seeing the government, and as you're watching these markets, seeing those fluctuations, right? How have you been affected? And what kind of foresight have you now gained with the new information you've got?
Yo, what's up, everybody?
What's
So,
good?
man, it's hard to say like how much of a role they play in the thing. Uh, Hard to put a number on it, but you see a lot of fluctuation. You talking banks come in and trying to combat the inflation rates with interest rates. It just that in itself, like, because how that works, you got your inflation rates. In order to push that back down, you got to get your interest rates above that, which is gonna it's gonna screw around with the housing market, with car sales, with everything going on. And you see how much all of that's shaking around right now. Like some of it is starting to drop due to interest rate rising. Of course, ain't nobody trying to pay that much interest on anything that they like.
Nope.
Nobody with any kind of sense. Like they're gonna fall back eventually.
For sure.
Unfortunately, government's gonna have to take a hit with that. Like we're a huge consumer based economy, so to have people like that constantly having to combat and figure out, hey, do I buy this car right now due to the
Mm-hmm.
interest rates? Ain't nobody trying to pay. Like unless you're your government, like we have certain things in place where we don't pay above a certain interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, the average consumer, which is the majority of our population, they're going to have to pay the 8, the 10, the 12%, regardless of what your credit rate is. Like it's going to be a thing.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Now, are you seeing these fluctuations affect anywhere in the local area of the BX or the PXs? Those fluctuate. Grocery prices going up on base. Are we
Oh yeah,
seeing just the local common things you need on
oh yeah,
base?
yeah, 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 yeah. We're not exempt from any of that. Like meat prices through the roof, like bread, gas, everything. Like still pay all that. Like regardless of what you heard, that is still a thing, one hundred
For
percent.
sure. For sure. So we can see how these just how it's just affecting everybody. At this point, it's like, dude, if you're just a middle class citizen, no matter what you work and where you work, you get punching them out just because they want to make these moves. To we know that they making a killing off of the game. You know what I mean? And it's important we
Yeah,
understand this thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
are they gonna buy everybody out again? Like that's what I'm trying to think about. We're waiting for them to buy out these banks again and make
Yeah.
sure they get these write-offs so we can get the interest rates down. When do we say that they can fail? Like we saw two banks collapse, but who else is gonna have to collapse before this market just finds a way to correct itself? I don't think Americans or people in general should be paying 7, 8% for a house or anything. When I hear these people buying cars with their horrible credit and they spending 17, 18% on a car, that's crazy that nobody's teaching these people how to properly use finances and find out how to get their credit score higher so they know that that 17% is even a bad price to pay. Like, who's teaching these kids out here that 17% on a car is not to be celebrated, or spending $1,700 on a car is a astronomical price to be paying for a car? Like, that's annoying to me, honestly.
It is.
I think I think the government will step in. Like, there's only so many banks and so many institutions that they can let fail before they start bailing people out. It's like I say,
Oh,
consumer based economy. Like
mhm.
you can't have all these large entities going under and not do anything about it. It's going to affect you in the long.
They're going to run them. They're going to run them to the big banks, and they're going to give those big banks the saving grace
Yep.
to get out of it. And just like if you guys got to see the podcast episode that just dropped today, for those of you that track back, but Mike goes in and talks about the article that came out that talked about how they're only giving 250K to the people that are in the SVB. If I had $7 million in there, that 250K ain't doing me nothing.
But that's
Nothing.
that's kind of like the target the middle class again, like what I said earlier. Like 250,000 is supposed to be for like specific. Like we're talking about somebody running a small business, somebody running like a meal, like a food truck or something. 250 might help that person, but me trying to do real estate when I'm moving millions of dollars, I should not have to be worried about. Hey, I got my money in the bank and that bank collapses, and I gotta pay them back that money ASAP. Like if the bank collapses, that should be free money to me. That's how I feel. I should not have to be worried about paying these people after they decide to make bad business practices and now I owe them money. That's bullshit to me.
Mhm. Completely. I absolutely agree with you. So I want to tap in talking to the transparency we need around here. And Strauss, brother, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming through and opening us up so we can see how our military and government's getting beat up by this.
Oh yeah, no, it's a pleasure, man. Anytime.
For sure. So as we talk about having transparency in the marketplace with these conspiracy theories that's out here, I'm going to follow up now and bring another
Uh,
student who's very been paying attention to these things. I know he keeps an eye on a couple conspiracies going on, not just through the marketplace, but even in our day-to-day realities, and has a good take on the transparencies coming through. My student Chris, man, he's been with us the last three. Come on through, brother. I appreciate you talking with us today. Of course, man.
Not, and you know, everybody's favorite conspiracy right now is politicians and trading, right? You got
Yeah.
the Nancy Pelosi. You know, everybody's like she's very successful, or her family members are very successful, and then you got these people they don't want us to know what they're doing, but they want to know what we're doing. You know, you see they bolster the IRS. You see the IRS, they think your tax returns are trash. They coming after you in a heartbeat. But they won't pass any legislation that let us know where their dark money comes from for their political campaigns. They want to know our money flow. They don't want us to know their money flow. And I feel like they're scared. They're scared because as the world adopt crypto and that blockchain come up, they know that every transaction will be live tracked. So once the transaction go through and that hash go through, I can see exactly what you traded, where where you move money, where you staked, where you invested, so on and so forth. And they don't want that. They want that for us. You know what I'm saying? Rules for thee, not rules for me. So with one of the things that I feel like we could do is if we could get everybody on the blockchain, they don't have that advantage. They don't have that, um, if you play shooters, they call it peeker's advantage. They don't have that advantage of seeing what happens first and capitalizing on it before we do. So I feel like that's one of the big things that we should get looking into. And I feel like that's one of the things people should fight for. It shouldn't be a bipartisan issue, no matter how you feel politically. Whether you tune in to Fox News or CNN, it shouldn't be about that. This is something that you want, period. You need more government transparency and less government oversight and less government power.
Almost definitely. And Tay and B, I'd love to get y'all take. Do y'all see that the blockchain and crypto being the saving grace for what we're seeing happening when these government political sanctions hiding the money?
So, but so the blockchain and cryptos and all these things, it's easy right now to hide that money because it's not being tracked. It's not a centralized banking system. Like it's basically the power within the people. We talk about this all the time within cybersecurity. Like, if I'm trying to do some kind of like almost drug deal, if I'm trying to do a ransomware attack, or I'm trying to do some kind of attack where I'm making somebody pay big money back to me, or any kind of money, I make them send that money in Bitcoin. Like, send me that money in Bitcoin, run me my check, so that I can go ahead and not have to worry about anybody being able to track my money and tell me what I'm doing, or try to tell me or try to trace that money back to me. Those are some crazy things that people are doing with Bitcoin and with other cryptocurrencies.
Sure. And be your follow up.
No, I agree with everybody, man. They're very scared to actually have their business right now. Because, like you said, they're trying to hide it. They don't want nobody to know about it. But you can't do that if you have a blockchain. Everything is out in the front with blockchain. You can't hide nothing. Not a penny, not a cent, nothing. So that's why they're fighting very hard right now, trying to get rid of these banks that are crypto friendly. They're trying to get rid of them, buy them out so they can manipulate the system and try to keep their power that they have. That's what's going on right now. And yeah, it's pretty shady. There's some shady stuff
Oh, for
going on.
sure.
They should
I
be
mean, it
in
was
jail.
ugly. Ugly, man. And
Yeah.
we went multiple years knowing, after they made the first run in 2017 on Bitcoin, and we knew for a fact at that very moment they would rocket ship them things back down so the government can get their hands on it. So they can find out how to regulate, how to get involved, and get their little crimey fingers on the entire situation.
Right. And
So,
understand, all war is
mhm,
based on information. So you
right,
talk about the class warfare, you talk about the difference between the top 1% and the other 99%. It's all war on information. You know what I'm
Yeah.
oh
saying?
yeah,
And it's waged at all levels. You look at all the Trump's presidency. He was like, I need to see Obama birth certificate. I need to see the tax returns and stuff like that, right? And then he became president and they was like, let's see your tax returns. He's like, nah.
tried
Nah.
to file back, tried to
Yeah.
fall
Right.
back
Well,
on them.
what tax
And
returns?
right. And they know too, like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you said this, well, let's see this. Like, nah, I plead the fifth.
Right, right, right. Good points, man. Good points on that topic. Hey, Chris, appreciate you coming through, man.
Before Chris
Oh,
leaves though, I got
for sure.
something. So we're talking about Nancy Pelosi and having all this information out on the light, and talking
Yeah.
about how we want to be able to see what they're doing. But
Mhm.
that's because people are more focused on trying to do what they're doing and trying to copy the same path. I can understand like, hey, um, I want to know what they're doing so that I can make sure they're not being collusive, like they're not doing any kind of collusion and stuff like that, or insider trading. But the real honesty is people don't know what they're doing, and they're just trying to see what is this person doing and winning. If she was losing, if she was investing all this money in these stocks and she was losing their money, they would not care about what she was doing. Period.
That's a fact.
And that's why it's big. It's why it's big for having individual traders do their own research and analysis. Like we got to have these people out here making sure you understand the market, making sure that you understand what you're looking at on these charts. That's what we talk about. We're trying to teach people how to do these things. Like,
Right.
hey, and when you see this kind of movement happen, what do you think is going to happen next? Or if not even talk about influencing, but knowing that the market is being manipulated or thinking the market is being manipulated. That shout out my boy Trey talk about through the MMM method. So there's a lot of different things going on, and I can understand why people want to see her statements and find out what she's trading on. But I still think people should be going back to their own information and stop relying on social media so much. Like,
Well,
come on.
I think the other reason too people want to see this information because it's like we know that they push the policies of the people that donate to their cause. You know what I'm saying? They push the policies of the people that donate to their campaign. Like, for example, just very recently, right? We know that 70% of the country was pro-choice, but they still overturned Roe v. Wade. So it's like, why? Because at that point, even Republicans are acting against what their own constituents want. They're acting on behalf of these companies. These companies need people working and paying taxes so that this engine that they got where they steal money from us can keep going. I'll go even further back in the past, for example. That whole time they was gung ho about this war on terror and anti-marijuana this and anti-marijuana that. Buyers, the aspirin company, they paying these people to stop marijuana legislation from becoming recreational legal, but on the back end they're investing in marijuana as a business.
Yep, like crazy.
So people don't just want to see it um just for the means of trading. People want to see it for transparency with the government. You're telling me one thing and you're doing another. You know what I'm saying? One hand doing the left hand doing something and the right hand doing something else. But
Great point.
and I
Great
got
point,
object
dog.
permanent. So when you show me what the right hand doing, I still know that the left hand doing something. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
So
isn't that what?
That's a wonderful point.
Isn't that what we were talking about what they were doing for crypto too? Like when we talked about that
Yes.
big drop that happened last year, we knew that they were coming down, or we had the perceptions they were coming down, which we were right about. Is that they were trying to get the market to come back down so they can come up and buy a bunch of those crypto stocks because they never got a chance to a part of the initial push up.
Right.
So all these
Here's
government agencies were like, we didn't purchase it when it was already at 60,000, so we let it come back down. We tried putting these things in place, saying, hey, this ain't real money. Like you can't really do
mhm,
this. We let it
mhm.
come back down. We buy a bunch of it, now let people come up and get out of there. Like, come
you
on.
you would be crazy to not think, dude. Here's how the numbers, just so y'all can hear the numbers. We was watching Ethereum. I feel like when it was hundreds of dollars, the XRP was like a penny bro, when we was watching. Bitcoin was barely what it was, just fell off at 15K or 17K, come down to 3K, and we're like, dude, they're going to find a moment and rocket this thing up. In 2020, Bitcoin hits 3,000, then rockets to 60K. That's y'all. That's y'all. That's nobody else but y'all. We watching you do it. We watching you do it. Ridiculous. So again, guys, any last words? Any last words before we close out this one?
Nope.
Dude, this great points. Great points. I really appreciate y'all giving them people this game.
Appreciate it, Chris.
right.
Thanks for
Thanks for
coming
having
through,
me on,
bro.
fam.
For sure, for sure. Every time, man, we always gonna have these great educated minds come here and talk with us and give us the game that y'all been able to learn these last few years. Um, as we follow into our next topic, we're gonna talk about technology. We're gonna talk about how Forex has now graduated over many of years now. We know back in the 70s, paper trading. Then we kind of get into computer-based trading in the 80s and 90s. Now we're starting to see mobile. We're starting to see the desktop start to graduate even more. What do you guys take on the technology? Is it making it easier, making it harder? Are we making people suckers in the game because it's too easy? What's your take?
Hey, shout out whoever made MetaTrader. Shout out whoever put trading online. Whoever created Trading View. Because without them, I'm not where I'm at right now and understanding the market the way I am. I don't even know how people traded beforehand. I'm presuming people did it through the start. They did it through the New York Times, or they're looking in the newspaper and trying to figure out what's going on today versus what was going on yesterday and keep it their own spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some. I'm assuming what's going on. I don't know for sure because that ain't my problem. I got technology. Like,
Right.
I got technology. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I got my
Yeah.
phone here. I bring my phone out. I look at the market anytime I want to in my bed, laying down. I can look at while I'm on the toilet. I can look at while I'm driving to work legally. I don't care.
It's in
Like,
a
it don't matter
Tesla.
how I'm
The
looking at it.
Tesla.
Like, come on.
The Tesla screen. You can pull a chart out.
Yeah, I can pull up on my Tesla screen on my car if I got one. I pull up on my DS if I got it. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy what you can do with technology and how I'm able to watch the markets and watch how things are influenced by like mobile apps, having these mobile apps and these trading platforms available for anybody to trade on, and also having a way for me to be able to go out and find me a broker that's going to give me a 1 to 500 ratio or a 1 to 300 ratio in order for me to trade my money. It's crazy to me. Like right now, somebody go ahead and put in the comment section. Let me know how you would back in the day reach out to a broker, trade stocks on, and then find out if you're up and down in real time throughout the day. I think I saw it
You
maybe in
would
a
hate
movie.
it.
What wasn't it in that movie with Eddie Murphy? Was it what's it
That
called?
that move.
Was it Trading Places? Trading Places,
Possibly.
yeah, it was Trading Places where he was poor and they talk about they gonna make him to a stockbroker and they were in a limousine trading ham stock in real time
Yes.
by watching this little thing Rolodex across the street, and that was technology back
Yep.
then.
Yep. I know watching if you watch Wolf of Wall Street, it was phone calls. You had to call the broker, you had to wait. The time in between you calling the broker, him answering the phone, is time we don't have to wait. That's how instantaneous taking a trade is. You gotta appreciate every aspect of that, for real. B, how you feel about it, man? I know you dabbling over mobile, right? A lot of the time.
Oh, definitely. It's
Look,
way easier. Way easier. From going from trying to place trades on piece of papers and then gotta send it to somebody and you gotta wait a couple hours to get your trade back and you don't even know if it's up or down by that time. Nah. I like it on my phone, one click, either buy, sell, you know, get your stop loss. Don't you gotta have your stop loss. Gotta have your take profit. and then you're done. You're over with. You just look at it.
There's literally
I
no
don't want to
excuses, I
know.
believe.
Take your paper, take your pencils, and leave it back there. I'm fine with the technology now. I'm cool with it.
I can
I'm
take it
not
one
good.
step further though for you. I can not even trade myself. I can give somebody else my money, give somebody access to my account, and have them trade for me in real time. Do some kind of these
Or you can get
little
a what's it?
trade engines.
E-Trade or EA account
Yeah,
that trades for
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
E-Trade, Webull. I can follow Nancy
Weeble.
Pelosi and follow her whatever she's doing, whatever her movements are. I'm just gonna buy stocks what she's buying. I don't even gotta pay attention no more. It's even going towards the way of AI. Like in a couple years, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be AI engines going crazy out here. That's gonna be like, oh, this will buy, this will sell, and they'll be purchasing stuff for people, and we're not even gonna have to do anything. I just wake up in the morning and make money.
Oh, for sure, dude. It was so crazy when ChatGPT came out, and I saw people already working on creating auto traders using this AI. Dude, it's insane. There is no excuse to be not making money in this system. And honestly, I think personally, if this ain't in your back pocket as a skill set that you can be like, yo, I'm about to throw 1,000 in, 10,000 in, and about to just start making money when this start going wrong. Job is having a problem. I lost my this, or even if you're passionate about something and you got a business and it fails, you can always pull this out the hat. It's
Yep,
always ready. You know what I mean? And never have to worry about needing it because you got the skill set.
easy,
Unbeatable.
it's easy money, easy money.
Easy money, man. Easy money. So, guys, we talked about a lot this episode of most common conspiracy theories. We got to talk about how the government's affected. We got to see how manipulation is happening in the marketplace. We're seeing how technology is now benefiting us. So if you're out there, you're sitting there, and you're wondering, bro, what am I supposed to do? Where am I at? The AI may be coming to take my job. They might be kicking me out the job anyway. Like the world's kind of all over the place. I'm gonna recommend you put trading skill in your back. I'm gonna recommend you hit us up here right here at ITU. We can teach us. And if you don't hit us here, the information's out there. You don't have to navigate it. You don't have to go through. You still gonna have to find a mentor. I couldn't do anything I'm doing without a mentor. I couldn't do anything in the military without a mentor. I didn't know a plane. I had to walk me through. I had to do 30, 20 some odd years of my life. I couldn't care how a plane ran. I got on it, got off. When I got in there, you had to walk me through all of it. I have no idea. It's no different here. It's no different here. Is it going to take as much time? Dude, that's going to be on you. But get with somebody that can speed you through the process. Get through your baby pips. Get through your basics. Knock out your education. And get tapped in. Because by the end of this year, and they're talking 6 to 9 months, it's recession beating down. You could be in a worse place that you don't want to be in, and you're going to wish you would have put the time in, put the skill in you.
It's crazy
Right?
too. Like the thing about it is like you said, like find somebody that's gonna help you trade and somebody that's a mentor to you. Like it's cool and all to try to like learn on your own and trying to go out, but that takes years. Like when we started trading, you and me, Zay, like we were in classes with people, but sometimes we couldn't even we were online together just talking about some of the things that we're looking at and trying to like progress quicker. The moment I met, like I said, Trey, my original mentor, shout out Trey,
Shout
like
out Trey.
I can hit him up at any point in time, like I got a question. He'll be like, this is what you're seeing. You're a dummy. You're not doing this right, or you're a dummy. You're not seeing this right. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And then that sped everything up. And then we got Strauss that came on once we started our own program, and Strauss picked up like that. Like I don't know how Strauss's progress would have been if he would have did it by himself, but I can 100% tell you we sped that process up.
Pete, you have any last take? And I'm going to leave across the board before we close out today. Any last words from anyone? I appreciate y'all time.
Hey, hit that like button though. I will say that. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Let us give us some feedback. Let us know how we're doing. We
Tell
welcome all the feedback. Please,
tell
negative
tell
or
Byron how
good.
trash his mic is.
Exactly.
Like, fucking
View the
mic.
comments. Talk about
Yeah.
Biden's
Oh
mic.
yeah, Byron's
And
mic
don't
has his own
worry. Hey,
personality.
we get the cash out soon enough. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's got his own. His tag is his mic. B's mic. He got his own tag now, his own personality.
There you go. Hey man, yo, appreciate y'all time. If you made it this far, I appreciate you coming through. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell us how you may be infected. If you're looking to learn, hit us up on the website solo.to/independent trading. All our platforms are right there within that. They'll have the link in the description along with many other podcast episodes. I appreciate y'all time. Thanks for joining us.